I see my name in shining lights. Yeah, a different city every night. Oh, I swear the world better prepare for when I'm a billionaire.
It's time to get down to business on the weekend's #1 business program. Known as the King of Networking, your host, Shalom Klein, has worked with thousands of entrepreneurs and created countless jobs. So, to success. Let's get down to business.
And indeed, we're all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship. And business, we talk a lot about business here. You're on with Get Down to Business, and I'm your host, Shalom Klein. Remember, you can always download podcasts from Get Down to Business on my website at shalomklein.com. And while you're there, don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Shalom Klein. It's going to be a jam-packed week of content and information you will not want to miss. But first and foremost, I'm thrilled and excited to be joined by Thomas Gelmi, a best-selling author of several books, among them Breakthrough, A Cabin Crew Can Teach You About Leadership, Teamwork, and Customer Contact, and The Coaching Code, Practical Tips for Cracking the Code and Building a Successful Coaching Business. There's so much more. I know Thomas has spent quite a bit of time working as an executive coach, facilitator, member of the Forbes Coaches Council, and so much more. Thomas Gelmi, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much, Shalom, for having me on your show. And good afternoon from Switzerland.
Absolutely. An honor to have you. Thomas, you have quite a bit of background working for many years in various management positions. I always love to start by getting to know our guests. Can you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself and why you're so passionate about coaching?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, it's been 20 plus years now that I'm in the field of executive coaching, learning and development. Employed for the first 8 years, and then it's 13 years now that I'm running my own business worldwide across industries and cultures. And before I embarked on this part of my journey, I had a very colorful biography. So I started earning my first money cutting people's hair. I was a hairstylist. I did a 3 years apprenticeship. And then I was a bit, lost, didn't know what else to do. Had many interests, etc. So I ended up working for a circus and touring around for 1.5 years, living in the trailer and doing the marketing for that circus until I finally got to Swissair, the former national airline. And I started as a flight attendant in my mid-20s and then quickly became what they called a maître de cabine, which is an in-flight manager or a purser. So I started leading cabin crew on the international network, learned a lot about myself, about human beings, about interaction between human beings, what works, what doesn't work, solving conflicts and all that stuff you can imagine in the narrow tube on 10,000 meters. Feet, probably in your case. You got to solve issues quickly. And I'm still benefiting from this experience. So after that, I got into the coaching business with a lot of further education for myself. And here I am today doing what I love doing, helping others to grow and develop and become more effective in what they do.
Sure, absolutely. And I'm chatting with Thomas Gelmi. Fascinating. I love that background. Amazing. Starting with Swissair and certainly continuing to use those lessons learned and most importantly, teach others, which is fantastic. And if anybody Googles you, Thomas, I know that they will see a lot of the advice that you share quite freely about leadership. So I certainly don't want to be left out over here, and I don't want to leave our listeners to get down to business out over here. I know you've used a line about becoming an authentic, conscious, and effective leader. In your mind, Thomas, what is involved? What sets somebody apart and allows them to be all of those adjectives versus some others that are just sort of floating by?
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, it's being in a good relationship with yourself. So knowing yourself, knowing who you are in terms of, qualities, competencies, values, what's really important for you, and then living up to these in an authentic way, being genuine, showing up for who you really are, which includes things like vulnerability. Yeah. So putting away the protective armor and just really connecting with people. That sets good leaders, great leaders, effective leaders apart from maybe those who try to apply methods and techniques. Ever so often I hear people that they want to attend a course or get some hints and tips and tricks in how to better mobilize people to and get them to do what needs to be done, which in most cases means how can I manipulate people better, right? But that's a completely wrong approach, because people sense it. People notice whether you're genuine or whether you're trying to, dominate or push them. And so this requires doing the work, in yourself, with yourself. So today I'm convinced, based on my experience, that leadership development is first and foremost personality development, and it starts with your own personality. So does that answer your question?
Amazing. It does indeed, and that's super inspiring to watch. I hear the authenticity in your voice as you talk about this. So in your mind, as you watch what's going on today, what are leaders doing wrong, and how do we fix it?
Well, the main issue I see nowadays is that we live in this so-called VUCA environment, VUCA world. VUCA is an acronym that stands for the four main challenges that leaders and organizations have been facing in the past 1 to 2 decades. V for volatility, U for uncertainty, C for complexity, and A for ambiguity. So that's the environment we're navigating in as organizations, whether it's corporate or a small SME, doesn't really matter. And the pandemic that we've all just globally been through was a VUCA example par excellence. It came with all these challenges in an amplified way. Now, this means that the demands on the people working in organizations, the staff, have never been higher before than now. And paradoxically, the very same challenges that affect organizations also affect those people working in organizations and add pressure to them and push them to the limits of their performance and resilience. And now, many leaders, or most managers and leaders, are trying to resolve this dilemma by trying to create an even stronger culture of performance. So pushing even more, which is in the end counterproductive, because experience shows that focusing on the numbers only and focusing on performance only is not the best, not the healthiest, and especially not the most sustainable way to ensure the success of a company. Instead, the key is to create a culture of humanity where people can be seen as human beings, a culture of trust, a culture of appreciation. So really putting the people at the heart of the corporate culture and the organization and caring for them, which will eventually positively affect the numbers, which sounds like common sense, right? But the more we are under pressure, the more these simple things fall by the wayside, right?
Indeed, absolutely. Again, I'm chatting with the one and only Thomas Gelmi, already learning so much from you. And I know that I don't want to share all of the secrets over here because so much of them are written in your books. Breakthrough, What Cabin Crew Can Teach You About Leadership, Teamwork, and Customer Contact, and the Coaching Code, Practical Tips for Cracking the Code and Building Successful Coaching Business. So, Thomas, we're running out of time. And if you can delineate in 30 seconds or less, what can Cabin Crew teach you about leadership, teamwork, and customer contact? What would that be?
Well, in a nutshell, it's really being human, thinking in a more human way, acting in a more human way, allowing your humanity to shine, to be part of every interaction, and not trying to hide that behind a mask of, like, I have to be in control. I have to be the smartest person in the room. I have to push people to do what needs to be done. No, you don't. Much more effective is to really be yourself and invite others to also show up as themselves. This is where the magic happens, really. But it takes a bit of courage, right? To try it and to trust that this can not only also work well, but even better.
Wow. Okay. Well, Thomas, like I said, I don't want to share all the secrets because we certainly want people to pick up a copy of your book. Thomas, we're running out of time, and I want to make sure people can do that. Where can they learn more about you, get in touch with you, and purchase a copy of these great reads?
All right. Well, just Google my name and you'll find me. The website you find me and can reach out to me most effectively is thomasgelmi.com, or just connect with me on LinkedIn, for example. I'd be happy to chat.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your expertise with our listeners. We appreciate it indeed. Certainly encourage all of our listeners to get in touch with you, thomasgelmi.com. Appreciate it. And as you said, people can just Google you. We're going to squeeze in a very quick break here on the show, all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship. But we'll be right back on Get Down to Business. Don't touch that dial.